Is Mike Freeman. He writes poetry, which probably is not a gigantic shock, and short fiction and screenplays. He's been featured on TVO's Imprint, Speaker's Corner, and Bravo News. His poems have been published in literary journals throughout Canada. He's the author of 2 books, Cigarette Salad in '06 and Bones in '07. He also produces a weekly poetry podcast on iTunes, and it's my pleasure to have him come up to the stage. Mike Freeman, everybody.
Thanks for coming out tonight. I know it's a summertime, and I'm amazed at how many people showed up tonight. You know, there's so many things to do, and you guys decided to come out and do poetry, so I think that's really cool. I'm going to be reading from Bones, Cigarette Salad, and a few recent poems. I'll try not to be up here forever. But this first poem I thought I'd read because actually Laura helped me edit this poem. And it is a summer poem, so here it is. Simmer. You skip across the water's surface like a stone suddenly freed from its own heavy thoughts. Me plodding along the beach beside you, a city still strapped to my back. Seagulls burrow tunnels in air. Your hair is a dirty blonde breeze. Mist encircles the rock as your lips encircle my name. Water rushes up to kiss you. Sun embrace you, and you linger there to let them do so. Sands beneath your feet, spilt from a broken hourglass. Oh, thanks. Therefore, nevertheless, moreover, but what is more in addition besides, still furthermore likewise and more to the point, yet equally, however, on the other hand, and in view of that accordingly, then again in contrast, conversely, in opposition in spite of this, hence as a result for that reason, and if so then, and consequently, can be stated to sum up briefly in conclusion, to a degree in part limited, so to speak, to a certain extent, somewhat fairly, relatively reasonably, beyond all equitable dispute, without undue straining and credibility, with ineluctable, unambiguous, and positively inarguable certitude. To be sure, without a doubt, I think, perhaps, maybe, I guess Coping with the war on terror. Today they took away the tiny man who lives inside my refrigerator. You know, the little guy who turns the fridge light off and on. My neighbor tells me he's been called an enemy combatant. And though we never met face to face, I'm gonna miss that shy little guy. Now the fridge is always dark. I can't find my low-fat mayo. There's a bit of a laugh on that one. My threadbare black armband. Never that which is shall die. Euripides. Is, and always will be is. Is will never be was, even when is was. When is was, is, and always will be, when will be is, and is was. This is a poem I wrote for my nephew Alexander, who I call the sausage. Yeah, he's about 8 years old now. He'd be very embarrassed by this poem now, but when I wrote it for him, he was just being born, so he never had a chance to be embarrassed. I cannot turn away, my eyes incredulous, my nose pressed up to incubator glass, mottled patches of red and white beneath your sheath of tissue paper skin. You are a sausage, 6 weeks before your due date, and 4 pounds 7 ounces on the butcher's scale. A crazy science project of prime ground, tubes and wires. Crackling deli meat battery, your power could light 100 hospital wards. You make my mouth water. I want to bite you ever so gently on the precise spot where tiny calf bulges out of lower leg. And Jim is here tonight, so I'm going to read this poem for him. It's called Text Messages to Marcel Duchamp. A sagging landscape was his gut. His laziness could bend the hands of clocks. The circle was round like a square. The snake falls in love with a necklace. Definition of an eloquent person, someone who can describe a spiral staircase without using his hands. Hold this poem up to your ear, and you will hear the sound of the sea, a sea made of crinkling paper. And one more from this book. I'm going to take a glass of water, though. I'm really parched. But, this is a kind of bookend piece with Simmer, and you'll probably see why when I read it. So, has a similar theme in it. Gravity Zero. She rose up into the air, and a jilted earth let out a sigh. She rose up, and the almond scent of her skin filled the breeze, then faded like a song. She rose up past telephone poles and rooftops of houses where the earthbound hid. She rose up sleeker than the sparrows that swirled around her like a jubilant cyclone. She rose up confounding air traffic control with her unidentified tiny red blip. She rose up and scrunched her toes as though the sky beneath were a fresh mown lawn. She rose up and with a swish of her fingers parted storm clouds like a plastic bead curtain. She rose up shooting through the ozone with a tangerine shower of sparks. She rose up past satellites and every cell phone down on Earth rang out at once. She rose up but remembered to politely wave goodbye. The tide went out for half the world when she gently bumped her head against the moon. Stars got caught in her weightless, dirty blonde hair. Here's a number of recent poems. The first is a two-parter called Mirror Diptych. The reverse, 1. In the mirror, you're right and I'm left. In the mirror, I'm right and you're wrong. You write the verse. In the mirror, I write the reverse. In the mirror, you're left and I'm gone. 2. The return. I once let the cradle clouds my youth's black sunrise, to see with my own eyes, to hold once more my hands, that floating bottle of ghosts in the form of the noonday moon. But I flew from the noonday moon in the form of that floating bottle of ghosts, to hold once more my hands, to see with my own eyes, my youth's black sunrise, the cradle of clouds I once left. Here's a prose poem. It's called The Mothers. A pregnant woman is climbing a mountain, the rock face barren and treacherous. She pauses a moment, wipes the sweat from her brow, then continues to pull herself up inch by inch, scrabbling at the rock, bleeding. As far back as she can remember, she has scaled this peak, but no matter how hard she tries, the summit eludes her. Still the woman climbs. Attached to the middle of her distended belly is an umbilical cord connected to her mother, who staggers behind her. And fastened to her mother's belly is another umbilical cord connected to her mother. And so on, umbilical cords linking daughters to mothers down the eternity of mountainside. Climb with care, little mother, the mothers say. If you fall, so do we.